Boom, coming in hot, Chinchy, with a little postseason action finally, dude.
Little postseason action, even though yesterday kind of felt like the postseason, right? But let's pick up with that team that you think there might be a hangover, there might be something like that. But heck no, man. The Mets went down early, won 8-4. What's your take?
Yeah, man, they look great, didn't they? I think the biggest thing is when you get to postseason play, you're going to rely on two things. You're going to rely on pitching, great pitching, and timely hitting. That's how you're going to win games. Like the pitching is good in the postseason. So you got to find a way when you get guys out there, you got to drive them in. And you look back at the Mets in this game, 5 for 7 runners in scoring position. And they had been terrible up until really yesterday when they beat Atlanta in that first game, 8-7. They had been terrible for a while. So I thought that was a huge thing. And Severino pitched pretty well. Obviously kept him in the game. And I think one of the biggest things is, we talked about it yesterday too. You go back and look at Winker and JD Martinez. They have been terrible this last month. I mean, really, like almost like, OPS is on around 200. I mean, they're bad for a while. And at the end, when Mendoza said, hey, I had to keep playing JD Martinez because we're going to need him. Right. We're going to need him in the postseason. Bam! Winker starts off with a triple. Drives in 2 runs early against Peralta, and then JD Martinez comes up with a JD Martinez-esque ground ball to the right side, scores 2 more runs, and I just think that was huge. That Mendoza was like, "Listen, Winker, you're going to start the game. JD, you're going to come in. Those guys end up driving in 4 runs."
Yeah, just reminded me of something you said yesterday about, listen, you have to put the ball in play, especially like in postseason games, and that's what they did. And how about that one inning, dude? They went 3 times to the opposite field. JD Martinez and a couple other dudes, opposite way, 2-strike hitting. And that was a difference in the game. And one other thing, after all you went through yesterday, you had to play the doubleheader, you've been playing for a week straight, you go Severino, Buto, Stanek, go home, bullpen got to hang out. So they are set up for the rest of the series.
Huge. No, huge. And they look great too. I mean, they came in and really dominated. And you got to give credit to Severino too. 6 innings, 8 hits, kind of battled through a little bit, only 3 earned runs, punched out 3, but did exactly what they needed to do. And when you look back at the Brewers, it's funny. The Mets scored 8 runs on 7 hits, dude. Yeah. They weren't bashing.
No, they weren't.
But they were getting guys on and driving them in. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. And you look up and down that lineup too. They end up having 5 walks, so they got on base. And they came through when they had to come through. And that was probably, at the end of the day, that was that's the story of that game, bro.
Yeah, and how about just real quick, first of all, the Brewers are fast, man. You watch a full game of theirs, they are a fast team. They run the bases. But if you were to think Terang would go 3 for 5, Churio will go 2 for 4, and Contreras will go 1 for 4 with 2 ribbies, you would think check mark in a W box for them. But the fact is, the Mets came out, and the Mets came out hot, and all you have to do is get in, man. They almost didn't make the playoffs, and now they're in the driver's seat against Milwaukee.
You're right. Well, dude, and also on any other given day, the Brewers were 4 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Any other day, you're like, oh, that's a winner. Put in the books. But when you got a team going 5 for 7 runners in scoring position with a few guys on base too, bases loaded, a couple guys on second and third, they did a great job, man. Great job of coming through.
Great job. And one more point on the Mets: last 17 batters for the Brewers did not reach base. Holy moly. How about that? Wow. All right, let's move on. Kansas City and the Orioles, no offense in this game. It was 1-0. You would think if you're Baltimore and you're saying we're going to hold the Royals to 1 run, that's a W in the box for them. But that was not the case there either.
No, as advertised, this was going to be a pitching duel. Cole Reagans versus Corbin Burns, and it was. I mean, Burns did a great job, 5 innings. Or no, I'm sorry, 8 innings. 8 innings, 5 hits.
Yep.
I mean, to come out with a win with Burns going 8 innings, 5 hits to find a way to scratch that 1 run across. And who came through with the big hit? Bobby Witt Jr. just snuck one by left side. They end up winning 1-0. I mean, that's incredible. And don't forget our man Vinny Pasquantino surprised us all getting into the 4-hole. So that was a grinded out game, man. You talk about Cole Reagans basically matched Burns, 6 innings, 4 hits. I think he had to come out of a game with a little calf cramp or something like that, but he punched 8 tickets to it. He had great stuff, but that back end of the bullpen for the Royals came in and shut the door. That was just an absolute pitcher's duel that, like we talked about before, who's going to get the hit? Who's going to get the big hit? You know, for all the people that say RBIs don't matter and all that stuff, no, it does. It matters. Like, who's up there? There's a reason Bobby Witt Jr. is driving in 100 runs, hitting so many homers because he hits with runners in scoring position. Did it again today. Huge win for the Royals. Send a message to go up 1-0 in that series.
Yeah. All right, and let's move on to the other game. This just in, Skubal is maybe the best pitcher on the planet right now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think one thing about Skubal, 6 innings, 4 hits, 6 Ks. You know, when you watch him pitch, Chinch, he's 98, 99 with that here, but he almost pitches like he's 91, 92. He loves throwing the changeup. You know, he's really got that. You know, there's nothing worse, nothing tougher for a hitter in the big leagues than a guy that's got an elite fastball and an elite changeup. It's just a major problem because the whole point of you as a pitcher is you're trying to deceive that hitter, right? And the whole point as a hitter is I'm trying to look for a ball that's up, and hopefully you don't have something that's 10-mile-an-hour difference. You see Skubal throwing that changeup at 89 with some bite and with the same rotation as that heater, and he's throwing that heater at 98, 99 miles an hour. I mean, those guys were just, their heads were spinning all day. He got in a couple situations where he had to pitch out of it, and he did. So you got to give Skubal a ton of credit. And also, too, when you go back and look at that game, you know, when you go up and down that lineup for the Tigers, who'd have thought Jake Rogers, the catcher, would be the guy that we would be talking about? 2 for 4 today, big RBI, kind of got the party started with that first run early in the second inning there, and also made that incredible play in the ninth. You saw that play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, came out, swing and bunt, called off the pitcher, and just he grabbed it and turned and ripped it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was great. So, like, that's what I love about the Tigers. It's a lot of dudes that, like, kind of unsung heroes, guys that are just, you know, really grinding, and you go up and down that lineup, and they came up with the big hits when they had to. Listen, you put up a three spot for a guy like Skubal, he's going to hold you in the game at least till the end. And that bullpen for AJ Hinch has really been lights out all year long. And they came in with Vest, Holton, Foley, and Brieski, and they just dominated, dude.
3 guys through less than an inning pitched. You know what I mean? They got a guy going a third, another guy going a third. That's just typical. That's Detroit Tigers baseball as it is right now. Yeah.
Totally, man. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in games 2 and 3, because AJ Hinch said, we got Skubal going game 1, and we're going to empty the bucket and figure it out games 2 and 3. So they would love to just get this over in 2 games. But you know the Astros are going to find a way to fight back. They tried to get something going in the ninth, and they just couldn't get, you know, the runs they needed.
Yeah, and also Bregman was about 3 inches away from hitting a home run in that game too. That would have made it a 3-2 game at that point.
Yeah.
And it's game of inches, as they say. But is it strange that all the home teams lost?
Isn't that interesting?
That's so weird how that happened.
Yeah. Let's see what happens with San Diego tonight, because they seem like the clear-cut favorites, but maybe the Braves go in there after playing 2 games yesterday. They feel like they're hot, and see what happens.
Yeah. You know, I saw a crazy stat before. Olsen is only behind Ohtani for the most extra base hits in the last, 3 years in Major League Baseball. Isn't that a crazy stat?
Wow, that's great. Well, dude, he hit 53 home runs last year. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And he hits doubles too, so
that'll get it done. Of these 3 teams that lost, who are you most concerned about?
I'm most concerned about the Orioles. You know, just they put up no runs. Their offense wasn't even there. You know what I mean? I think if they're going to win that series, they're going to have to find a way to get that offense going. So definitely concerned about them. Like I said, the Astros, I think they're going to find a way to get that game 2 and send it to game 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the Mets-Brewers were evenly matched. I really think the Mets did a great job. Had they not gone 5 for 7 runners in scoring position, this is a different conversation. So I think that's a well-matched game. I'm sure the Brewers will find a way to maybe get game 2, send that to a game 3. But the Orioles are the team that I look at and go, not a ton of offense there. And you do not want to waste a Corbin Burns start. When a Corbin Burns goes 8 innings for you, gives up 1 run, I feel like you've got to win that game.
Yeah, and again, to score no runs in Baltimore is a really tough thing to do, especially when it's your home field. That's like a bandbox. They lost 1-0 in the first game. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. We're off to a great start, though. I mean, these games are all compelling. Everybody was in it. Other than just the Brewers in the last few innings of that game where it just they got shut down. Anybody could have won either of these.
Yeah, you're right, dude. You're right. It's wide open, man. It's wide open, and tonight's going to be good too. I'm looking forward to watching that Braves Padres game, see what happens, and we'll break it down again tomorrow. But it's playoffs are here, dude. Nothing like playoff baseball. Nothing like today. Sitting down with my son Andrew at 2:00, locking into the Tigers, Astros, and then the Royals Orioles game. What was that? What was the time on that game?
It was like 10 minutes. It was
I
over.
sort of I looked up. I was like, that game's over.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I think I have time of game. 2 hours, 25 minutes.
2 hours, 25 minutes, dude. That thing was flying by.
That's unbelievable.
That's what postseason commercials, you know what I mean?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah,
a lot of political ads on these commercials.
Oh, dude. I mean, let's get the election over with. This is ridiculous, dude. I'm like, I can't take it anymore.
I know whoever comptroller is all over the country.
It's so ridiculous. Oh, my God.
All right, man. We're back at it tomorrow morning with our regularly scheduled programming, and we'll back at it tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. And hey, listen, if you're new to the mayor's office, go to YouTube, check us out on there, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, download us, and we go at it every day. So we'll have some good stuff for you tomorrow.
Yeah. By the way, thanks to our folks at Melon.
Yeah, great hat. That's a great hat.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Talk to you later.
See you, buddy.